This is the PP Iceberg. It's the Iceberg meme, but in PP. Every single main event in the league's history, from most known to the most unknown things that are very niche. Let's get into it. Not every single event that we're going to be talking about today is listed on this iceberg photo, but most of them are. So let's get into it, and we're going to be starting with the very top things that everybody knows. The Cum Cup is the coveted trophy that you get when you win the league title. And there have been 3 of these handed out, 2 to Christian Bulls, 1 to Christian Gaines. And yeah, everybody knows about it in PP because it is the trophy that you get when you are the best player in the league. And another thing that everybody in PP knows about is Bulls' championships. Christian Bulls is the only repeat champion in PP, and he won the first 2 and his only 2 Cum Cups in the league's first 2 seasons. Everybody knows about what he did, and overall, it's just very iconic for the league that he was able to win 2 in a row and almost got the three-peat. He came very close in 2025. And yeah, our last thing that everybody in PP knows about is Else the GOAT. He is simply referred to as the GOAT for his lovable play and how Christian Bulls also calls him his GOAT. Everybody loves Else, so he's the GOAT. Now we enter the actual iceberg level of PP, and this is the CCPG, the Conference Championship Penalty Game. The reason that this is here is because this is the round before the championship. This determines who will be playing in it, and it's kind of like a conference championship. It began in 2024 and has been played ever since as the prelude to the championship, deciding who gets there. It contains some of the best games in league history and is just one of the most loved rounds overall. If you want to define an insane Cinderella run, 2025 Christian Gaines is for you. We actually have an entire video on this channel dedicated to his run. Gaines began his season 0-3-1, had not scored a goal in the first 3 games, and got 10-0 to open his season. Yet, he ended up winning the championship. Gaines was awful the majority of the regular season, but it has become an iconic moment for his stepping up in the CCPG and his sweep of Josh in the championship. It's an incredible run and the greatest this league has ever seen. PP Winter League is not actually a league. It's more of just a little thing that Bulls and his friends set up for the winter. It's an indoor thing of just shooting on each other and actually throwing at each other as well. And Winter League has kind of just turned into a little fun thing that some players and younger people do in the off season to get better for the actual PP, even if there's nothing alike. The other thing that Christian Bulls and company did going into 2026 over the winter was the PP podcast. Bulls and his friend Liam Walker hosted people with the names of Danny DePaul, Aries Yem, and had fun on the show, PP Podcast. This could be lower on the iceberg, but I believe it's still iceberg level because of the fact that it is so recent, and it got a decent amount of popularity. Oh. The slip is one of the most iconic, funny moments of PP. It occurred in Week 2 of the 2025 season with defending champion Bulls and the lowly rookie Breen. It's as simple as that. Seamus Breen slipped badly in the rain, and it has become iconic for the league. Breen then proceeded to lose 10-0.
Oh yeah! Oh my God. He fell again! He fell again!
The reason that the slip falls just under the iceberg level is the fact that the slip 2 happened. A very underrated moment that a lot of people seem to forget about. Saves are a PP stat measuring the amount of times a player will hit the ball out or defend a shot as a goalie. The reason this makes this iceberg is the fact that saves are a really weird stat. Oftentimes, the all-time leaders in saves will not have a good record at all. The main reason players rack up a ton of saves on the all-time lists is due to the fact that they are bad. The worse the player, the more times they let the other opponent kick the ball, meaning they have more chances to get saves even if they're not very good. Look at this. El Solari makes this list twice with both his seasons, despite having by far the worst record in the league. Danny DePaul, as a rookie in 2025, was having a great season. Historically great defense and some really good offensive performances. He was surprising everyone. But Danny's struggles with making games due to football schedules and international duties, along with some injuries, prevented his season from finishing. He had to sub out for the rest of the season. Danny ended up having two people fill in for him as a team, Mason Petrauskas and Gage Morta. This formed the first ever team in PP history. Pretty interesting. Also, for the playoffs, which Team Danny did make, the entire team was unable to attend the playing round game against Josh, so Danny's season ended as a first round exit due to forfeit. In PP, to get a red card, you have to get 3 yellow cards. And up to 2026 at least, every single team, aside from Team Danny, has been one player, meaning that if you get red carded, you have an automatic loss. Red cards have only ever occurred twice, once in Week 5 with Josh and Tyler, and another time, I believe also in Week 5 in 2024, with Aries and Else. Josh and Tyler's game was insane, with a lot of bad things Josh saying in order to get that red card, and Aries had a couple of taunting things, a couple of cheating, and also ended up breaking the net, which counts as breaking substance, which is why he got red carded. The Aries Else game is one of the craziest endings to a game ever.
Yellow card. Yellow card. Oh my god. Yellow card. Equals to a red. Automatic victory. Yo! What happened? Automatic victory. No way you guys. I scored.
There has always been a debate over what the best PP game ever is, and it's always been between around 5 to 6 games that have been in that conversation. But the Week 10 match between Christian Gaines and Christian Bulls to close the 2024 regular season remains the greatest game of all time. It always had the high stakes. It was a battle for the first seed to get straight to the championship instead of playing Aries in the CCPG. Also, it was for their pride, an insane rivalry. The first seed on the line, last game of the regular season, so many high stakes. And at the end of the day, it was a close game the entire way through, and at the end had the most insane series of events in league history. This is the greatest game of all time.
And it's out of bounds. No, it's not. Not. Oh my god! 9-9-9-7! How's that not? No! That was an amazing. Oh my, he's coming back. No! Go! 10-8, Christian Gaines does it.
Week 4 in 2025 between Else and Josh was not really a game to be remembered. Pretty mediocre game with a final score of 10-4, but it did involve some great shots from Else and Josh. The main highlight of this game was the line that the McGovern Tuvern said at the beginning of the game. Else was being all funny, but McGovern was funnier. Take a listen. Okay, Else, you win.
I want to kick first.
Okay, then go.
Every sports league has its iconic games and its iconic scores. Look at the NFL's 28-3. 5-3 was a very interesting and very niche game that not a lot of people know about, as it is from the first ever season of PP in 2023. It was between Christian Gaines and Christian Bulls, as almost every single game from that season was, and it involved one of the craziest things this league had ever seen. We really wish we were filming this game. The game began very strong. Both offenses put up some of the best shots in league history to open up, and the score was 2-2 after each player's first 2 respective shots. Then Christian Bulls separated himself a little bit, gaining a 5-3 lead, as he did for most of the season, dominating Gaines. Great, incredible start to the game, followed by a bit of a separation from Bulls and make it 5-3. But then, just like Falcons Patriots in the NFL, which is 28-3, 5-3 happened. And what is that? 5-3 is when Christian Gaines possibly reached the highest peak of any player ever. He ended up scoring 7 unanswered goals while allowing none from Bulls. It began with a couple great shots from him, but the thing is, Gaines shut out Bulls. Bulls was speechless by the end of the match. He had nothing to say. Gaines made 7 of 7 straight shots and blocked 8 of 8 for Bulls. That is how insane it was. Gaines ended up winning this game 10-5 and cemented the insane 5-3 comeback as well as possibly the greatest tear ever in a game. Back before PP Winter League, and before the first ever true PP season, there were the goalie games. Christian Bulls and Mason Petrauskas would compete competitively in a game indoors very similar to PP's Winter League. It is the first sign we have ever seen of the league, and it is from very early 2023 and late 2022. In 2024, Aries was a rookie, and Bulls was coming off the first ever season of PP being his championship victory. And the thing is, they played each other in the first week of the season. Bulls was massively favored and was really supposed to win, but his goalie was awful. Aries took the crowd by storm and ended up winning in overtime. This started one of the craziest rivalries we have ever seen in PP. The guys played 3 games this regular season. The first 2 both went to overtime and both were insane Aries upsets. But the third game of this rivalry was week 8 of the 2024 season, and that's where it really got insane. Both Aries and Bulls were really cursing at each other, getting yellow cards, very rare for Bulls, very common for Aries, and it was just one of the most intense, heated matchups we have ever seen. But Bulls, despite being dominated in the regular season, got the last laugh, beating Aries in the CCPG. At that point, they were good friends, though.
You don't have this arm, so, don't ever... Oh! Yes! You should have never said that. Yes! Yes! Yo! Okay, that's a blowout one anymore, right? Ooh, that was really close. If you win out. If you use that logic. Did you flip me? Did you flip me? Wait, what? Ooh. I voted for Christian. Ooh. Oh! Unanswered. Oh, wait, never mind. Of what? Tequila. Yeah. I had it. I scored! Just kidding. If I did... Oh! And guarantee it's about to be. Bro, calm down. Yellow card. Yeah, should that be a yellow card? Yeah, that's a yellow card. I'm sorry, but that's gonna have to be a yellow card. How? What did I even do? You're raging. You almost killed Aries.
Declan Grubb, also known as Grubsy, was supposed to play in PP for the 2025 season as one of the 8 players, but instead, he backed out and even ghosted some of the league's members for almost a week. Instead, Josh came in to play for him. Declan had no soccer experience, so let's be glad that Josh came in for more entertainment, also to go all the way to the championship. Not much is known about Grubsy and PP, but this is. Included in the events of the 2025 championship between Gaines and Josh were a lot of interviews that took place on the game broadcasts, especially in Game 3. In Game 3, Donovan McKenzie and Lucas Ford were interviewed while the game call was going on, and at the end of Game 3, a physical interview with Liam Walker interviewing Logan Ford and Andrew Nana took place. These were very good interviews and 2 players that possibly will play in the upcoming season.
Next interview. How you doing, Andrew?
I'm doing pretty good.
Are you gonna play in FIFA?
As the 2024 PP season went on, some pandemic formed in PP. The PP Pink Eye Pandemic. This started when some clips of seeing players itching their eyes with gloves on started to surface, and Bulls already noticed this. Else ended up getting pink eye around week 6. And then also around that time, Bulls got pink eye. And just when that went away, people in the league started to realize, well, these 4 players are sharing 2 gloves in the hot summer and sometimes are forgetting to wash their hands after playing games. So that's why it happened. And right before the all-time classic Week 10 Bulls-Gaines game, right before that, the gloves were cleaned. Yet after the game, Bulls ended up getting pink eye yet again. This pandemic is something that PP has not faced since, due to more precautions and non-sharing gloves. That has stopped. But this pandemic is still something very crazy, and all 4 players probably had pink eye at some point, but only Bulls and Else were truly tested to have it. Since the first two championships were both between Christian Bulls and Christian Gaines, the only ever championship rematches PP has had so far was between the two. The first one was a domination in 2024, Bulls beating Gaines 10-2, but the second one was crazy. The fact that Bulls was undefeated up to this point and Gaines had 3 losses and 1 tie was insane. Gaines was the worst player in the league, and Bulls and Tyler were, tied for the best in the league. Yet what happened was an insane game. Truly, I mean, Gaines had some of the most immaculate curveballs in league history, faking out Bulls left and right, every single kick. But later on, after Gaines dominated this and people were thinking, okay, he's just going to dominate here, Bulls came back, and considering their records, Bulls was probably going to win. But no, Bulls had a blunder at the very end to lose the championship rematch, and this really turned the tides for Gaines' season. He started to win after this and obviously went on to have a Cinderella championship run. And as for Bulls, he continued domination. Gaines is always very good against him in the regular season.
9-6. You're scaring me. Okay. 9-7.
No mistakes.
Okay. 9-8. 9-8. Oh my! Christian! Yes! My first one. Oh.
Jason Gaines. Good win, Christian to Bulls. PP overall has been a sport in the league that can avoid injuries, but there have been a couple in the league's history. Most notably, well, in year 2, the pink eye epidemic technically counts, but also the 2024 championship had Bulls and Gaines both suffering of knee and ACL injuries the entire series. In 2025, Danny was notable for missing the year, also due to international duties, but he also was fighting injuries from the league. And also, Bulls had a couple head injuries, Else had a couple foot injuries, and injuries are just something that PP has mostly avoided, but there are some more unknown ones that players do fight through a lot during the games.
Goal! Nice. Else, that's 1 of 3. Oh! What's 1 of 3? For that nasty kick. For about 40 minutes in. Oh! 7-3. Goal. 8-3.
As we get progressively lower and lower on the iceberg, a lot of these events become very niche, and a lot of them are involved in the 2023 inaugural PP season. And this one is no different. A play that only 3 players were there to see. Those being Bulls Gaines and Zachary Waring, a PP player that played about 2 games in the entirety of 2023, and it is the Zach shot. In an exhibition match between Christian Bulls and Zachary Waring, they were just going back and forth having a pretty solid game. Zach was dominating with his power shot, and Bulls was actually losing for a little bit. But then something crazy happened. Zach took a shot, and it was a slot. It was going to get there to the bottom corner. And Bulls dove, and he dove the wrong way. The thing is, despite Zach's insane power shot that both Gaines and Bulls were not able to stop this entire season, and Bulls diving the wrong way, his foot was there. And this ended up happening to cause the shot to get blocked and to go over the net. So really what happened was Zach took a shot, Bulls dove the wrong way, but the very end of his foot was there to stop the ball, and the ball ended up being hit from his foot, saved, and sailing over the net. This is called the Zach shot. Even if Bulls saved it, this is a moment that in the league truly, we wish could have been filmed, but was not. Probably in terms of being impressive, the greatest save in PP history. The Zach shot. Bulls missing the dive, hitting it with his foot, and the ball sailing all the way over the net. Christian Gaines references this as his favorite moment in PP history. When you watch PP, you see the dirt patch. This is where the players kick the ball. So you might be wondering,
how is this the second lowest thing on the iceberg? The dirt patch is common knowledge. Everybody sees it.
Well, yes, and that way it is common knowledge. Anybody that has ever seen PP has seen the dirt patch and how the players contribute by kicking on it to making it bigger every single season. But its actual name as the dirt patch is not very known, and the backstory to why it started isn't because of kicking, and that's why it is so low. In the first season of PP, it was pretty much only Bulls and Gaines and some Zach and Mason, meaning that there was barely any kicking really done on it. all the games were played in good weather when both players were also available. So the dirt patch was never very, seen. It pretty much was nothing, just normal grass. But then over the winter, going into 2024, the gang started playing Manhunt, and that is how the dirt patch formed. And on a rather wet March day, while the gang was playing Manhunt, Aries was chasing down Christian Gaines. And Gaines ended up trying to juke out Aries in the game of Manhunt and slipped right here in the center of the yard. It was a muddy day, so it left a mark. And as it got warmer and nicer outside with spring and summer, the gang started playing soccer here and started kicking their penalty shots there. And then, as soon as we know it, PP season in 2024 started in July, and they started contributing to the dirt patch there. The little slip by Christian Gaines created a bit of a hole there in the mud, but that started to heal. But right when the season came around, the patch started to get weathered and just more kicked into every single game. Efforts were seen in 2025 to get rid of the dirt patch, as actually in the first couple weeks of the most recent PP season, the patch was gone. But Seamus Breen's slip in week 2 caused it to return. Yet again, going into 2026, minimal use, grass planting, hay, and other contributions will be made to remove the dirt patch for the upcoming season, but of course it will be coming back as more kicks happen. Every single sports league has its deepest lore, and if you want to talk about PP's deepest, at least public lore, there is the infamous Christian Gaines poop game. In a midseason 2023 match between Christian Bulls and Christian Gaines, the event happened. It was a normal match until Christian Gaines, on a save, soiled himself. He went home, changed, and the game continued, and Bulls ended up winning the match. And to avoid harsher details, Gaines soiled himself, and it was the most wild this league has ever gotten. The infamous poop game and the deepest of PP public lore. Thanks for watching, and please consider subscribing to the Pennsylvania Penalty Shots League. It's me, McGovern Tavern.